responsible for used packaging? What happens to this bottle after we've placed it into our recycling bin? Does it all come down to one person? Where does it really go? There are a lot of people involved, and there's a system in place.
We've created a system and there's legislation in place to ensure the effective and efficient management of packaging by producers at the end of its life, and to encourage and enable the implementation of circular economy initiatives. But it's not their sole responsibility. Everyone has a role to play, starting with government, municipalities, the collection and recycling industry, PROs, and even consumers. For packaging to stay in the system and out of landfill, we all need to work together. There are many role players. The first would be national government, who essentially sets out the legislative framework in which EPR is implemented. The second would be your local municipality as well as your provincial municipality, whose key function is essentially the effective waste management. And they've got to ensure that there's infrastructure in place and that consumers are adequately equipped to unlock the collection or separate the recyclables from the municipal waste. The second would be the producer, which is essentially the person that puts it onto the South African market. They've got the responsibility of making sure that there's a plan in place to get that collected and recycled once it's been discarded by the consumer, and they can either take that responsibility on themselves or hand it over to a PRO. PROs facilitate or balance the collection and recycling value chain and are also known as market makers. The next key role play would be that of a consumer, and their responsibility is to ensure that they can separate the recyclable material from the general waste. And then the last would be the collection and recycle value chain themselves, the collection component being your waste pickers, your formal and informal collectors, as well as your buyback centers, who are responsible for getting that material from consumers and then compacting it and selling it onto your recyclers. And then the last would be your recycler, whose responsibility it is to reprocess that material into new products, which then can be sold back to the consumers in a different form.
Someone needs to facilitate this process. That's where a producer responsibility organization comes in. Petco is a collective organization set up to ensure that their members' packaging that is placed on the market is collected and recycled in South Africa. PROs like Petco build and support the collection and recycling value chain. They also work to guide packaging design, stimulate end-use markets for recycled material, and educate the industry and consumers on how to collect and separate recyclable packaging from waste.
We all have a role to play. For the system to work, we need consumers to separate recyclable packaging from waste and dispose of it responsibly, whether that means it's collected from you or if it's taken to a drop-off site.
We buy the bottle for what's inside, but that bottle is more valuable than you might think. The same goes for all recyclable packaging. Your role is to make sure that it's placed in the right bin.